If you're thinking about buying a home in Havia and would like to save thousands of euros, stay tuned. In this video, we will give you all the reasons why it's important to exchange your currency the right way. So in this episode, we have as our guest Kevin Wright. Kevin, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So there's a lot of people who purchase a property here in the area of Havia, and they get to a certain point where they have to exchange their currency. And you're an expert in that, so I'm really happy to have you here and to provide everybody out there with some very useful information.
I'll do my best.
To start, can you tell a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm from a company called Moneycorp. We're the largest and oldest company from the UK. Obviously we have operations throughout the world. And I've been helping clients on the Costa Blanca here for 18 years. Mm-hmm. So hopefully I've picked up a fair bit of what clients need to look at.
Yeah, sure. And you know, us as international estate agents, we deal often with clients from countries such as the United Kingdom, the United States, and even Switzerland. And that was how I was mentioning before. They get to a point where they have to exchange their currency to the euro. From your experience, what are the 5 things people need to take into consideration when they exchange their currency?
Okay, there are some basic things, and they're fairly obvious when you look at them. But there's just a couple of bits that we can add in that hopefully will help clients. The first one, everyone when they're coming to purchase looks at their budget, what they can afford or what they're looking to spend. And it's important when looking at that to see, particularly as you say, if you're buying with a non-euro currency, to have a look at where is my start and end point with that budget, because by its very nature, if you're doing a currency exchange, that budget may well be impacted by where that exchange rate is sitting. So as an example, you can have say somebody's buying with £200,000 sterling and they've set that as their budget. Where we're sitting today in terms of rate, that could be 230,000 in terms of euros. If the rate goes in their favour, that budget could stretch up to 250,000 euros. However, if then the rate goes against them, that reduces their euro budget. So that £200,000 sterling can vary quite considerably depending on where the rate goes. And then looking at, and again these are services unfortunately you can't get through the bank, forward contracts. So you're protecting the rate, so you in effect buy the entire amount, but you can do it earlier with the deposit. As I say, that's generally not available through the bank. But it is a great way if you're working on a budget, if you set your parameters, that if it looks like it's slipping away, you can protect them. Okay, so they're the first 2 key things in terms of knowing what you've got to spend and protecting it. Yeah,
I think that's a really important one, because you know, one of the first things people look at when they start looking for a property is of course the criteria of price.
Yeah. And
if you don't know upfront what you have, you don't know what you can look for. So I think that's a really useful advice you're giving there.
Yeah, and I think it's certainly in the last, since 2016 with Brexit, when that started, for example, I think in the past sort of 6-7 years, the volatility of currency, particularly sterling to euro, has been quite dramatic at times. Whereas before that, you could almost set your watch by it. It was going to hang around 145, for example. Now it's swinging all over the place for lots and lots of different reasons. One of the other key things with currency and purchasing over here, which certainly maybe UK clients won't be completely aware of, is the post-Brexit implications. Whereas before, as part of the EU, there were receiving charges. The receiving charges were not levied, and if they were, you could get rid of them. Mm-hmm. Now, because the UK is technically a third country, the Spanish banks are levying it. So if you've got a payment, whether it's a deposit payment or a completion payment that is for a set amount, it's important when you, if you're going through your UK bank, that you factor that into the cost. Yep. And there are ways that clients can, if you're using a currency company, for example, if the currency company's got a client account in Spain, then the funds are remitted from within the EU, so it again negates that. Yeah. But certainly if you're sending funds from a UK bank or any bank in a non-EU currency, you've got to look at the receiving charges that you'll get. Exactly. And obviously if they're using quality property agents like yourself, then you will have made them aware of that. But it's something, again, that can come as a bit of a surprise when people come over, whether it's from the US or from the UK or Scandinavia, where the bank is actually going to charge pretty much to do everything.
I think that's some really useful advice. So imagine I'm a buyer, I have purchased a property right here, I got to an agreement on price with the vendor. Where do I start? How do I start? Do I reach out to a company like yourself? How does the process work?
Yeah, it depends where the client is comfortable. More and more clients now are becoming aware that the bank isn't necessarily the best vehicle for doing the currency exchange. It's great for little bits here and there or for travel money, but if you've got large amounts that you're transferring, all the points that we've highlighted in terms of the guidance, the information, the range of services, you just simply don't get through the bank. And it's not a criticism of the banks, it's not their core business, so they don't it's literally, well, here's the rate, take it or leave it, that's it. There's nothing added in. And I think purchasers in many ways now are getting a lot more nuanced in terms of the buying process. And they do rely on good guidance from the right property agent, the right currency company or currency outlet, right lawyer, right across the board. Whenever you're looking, it's like anything you do, whether you're doing shopping online, buying a TV, or anything you do online, you need to be absolutely 100% confident that the route you're sending that money through is a well-trusted, very solid organisation. Where do they operate? What licenses do they hold? What permissions are they fully regulated and authorised within each region that they deal with? So if you've got American clients coming over, they need to be dealing with companies or banks that are compliant within the US. Same in the UK, same with the EU. So that's really my recommendation, is really do your homework.
Do your homework, yeah. I think that's some really great advice to wrap everything up with. So if you're watching this video and you have any other questions for Kevin, that's not a problem. I will put the details down below. And Kevin, thank you so much for this interview and this very useful information. And if you're new to this channel, also don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with any new videos we put out there.